Why, this makes me absolutely mad. Cycling to Brighton? Are you crazy? It's 54 miles. Can you see that on here? It's 54 miles to Brighton. I did it once, got 3 punctures, it poured with rain, and the friend who I went with just ignored me and left me. Terrible experience. It's 54 miles to Brighton, look. Because it's listed on this graph. It's called a time distance graph. And here we have the distance in miles going up that way and finishing just about 54 right there. And here we have time. And this shows how long it takes, or the times it takes. So actually we're going here from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is 6 hours. Okay? And this journey took them just less than 6 hours because, whoever this is, because it finishes at, well, that line there, I think you should see as 4:30. Let's have a look. If we trace down here, it's halfway between 4 and 5, so that is 4:30 p.m. So we can already see that they started at 11 and they finished at 4:30. So that's a total time of 5.5 hours. Okay, 5.5 hours from 11 until 4:30. And that we're reading that across the bottom of this graph along here. Okay. How far did they go? Well, they went from this point, which is 0, up to this point, which is 54. So they went the whole way. That's good. And it took them 5.5 hours. Let's have a look at a few specific things. I'm going to clear some of this stuff. Let's have a look at a few specific bits here. So, let's get rid of all of that, in fact. So, it took them 5.5 hours to do the whole thing. Let's have a look at this flat bit here. This says that at 1:30, halfway between 1 and 2, until 2:30, they did 0 miles because they stayed at 35. Okay, for that hour between 1:30 and 2:30, they did nothing. I wonder why. Well, they probably had lunch. So between 1:30 and 2:30, 0 miles. That essentially means they had a rest. Okay. Let's look at another period. Between 11 and 12. So at 11 they did 0 because that's the start, and at 12 they'd reached 10 miles. They'd done 10 miles between 11 and 12. So in that 1 hour between 11 and 12, they did 10 miles. So you can actually see their speed, and their speed was 10 miles per hour. Okay, and we can look at other speeds. Essentially, where these blue lines are steeper, then where the blue line gets steeper, that means that they are going a little bit faster, and I'll show you why it means that. So if, for example, we look at this one here, between 12 and 1, so that's another hour, the next hour, they did 15 miles because they went from 10 miles to 25, so that's 15 in total in 1 hour. So at this point, where the line is a bit steeper, the speed was 15 miles per hour. And then at other times they get slower. And all you have to do is you have to check the time. So here's another one, 2:30. And wherever the line is straight, so from 2:30 to 4 p.m. they did from 35 to 50. They did another 15 miles, but it took them longer, so they were slower. And then there's one final thing. If you look at the top, just here, the line is quite flat. In that 15-minute period, they didn't go very far at all. They probably went about 2 miles. And that's because at the end of the London to Brighton route, there is a massive hill. And they had to cycle up that, and I suspect that in cycling up that massive hill, they went very, very slowly.